Life and business can be easy, but us silly humans love getting in our own way. My name is Nico Rapclis, and I've had a wild journey. From releasing traumas that I held on to for decades, to playing college athletics, working with multi-million-dollar brands, having a spiritual awakening, and now coaching incredible humans navigate their inner and outer world. The Just Grow podcast is my outlet to share and help others with life and business. After investing north of $100,000 into my personal and professional development, the Woo Plus Do formula is what has served me best. A healthy combination of mindset, energetics, consciousness, spirituality, self-healing, and discovery, matched with a high-level strategy, principles, focus, optimization, and accountability to help you be, do, and have everything that has been placed in your heart. This podcast is for the impact-driven entrepreneur that is finally ready to start thriving internally and externally. Welcome to Just Grow. Welcome, my beautiful friends, to another episode of the Just Grow podcast solo edition. We're starting to get into this. I'm kind of enjoying it and liking it. So I just grounded in, and we're going to dive in and have an incredible conversation, me and you, just me right now. You will get to hear this later on. Oh man, this episode, what we're going to be talking about is really how to step into that highest version of yourself, how to get clear on who you are, who you're becoming, where you're going, what you want. It's a topic of discussion that I hear a lot from different people talking about, like, I don't know what I want. Well, I have a story that I want to share with you here on this episode. But before we even get into that, I got to share some condolences. It was just brought to my attention. I don't know the extent of it whatsoever, but a previous podcast guest of the Just Grow podcast actually just passed, which is it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild to think. Kind of wild to think that, you know, there are certainly always people that thought they were going to wake up today that didn't. And I think it's such a great reminder to remind ourselves that, yes, we're always wanting to grow and become better and do better and be better and step into that highest version of ourselves, but knowing that we are that person right now in this very moment, and this moment is all that we truly have. So I didn't know this person extremely well, and again, I don't know all the details, so I'm probably not going to share too much on it, but it was pretty wild to see something like that. Death is a really interesting one. I had a friend that had a really great friend pass away recently too, and it's just, you know, tomorrow's not promised. 10 minutes from now isn't promised. All we know that right now in this very moment is what's promised. So I wanted to share that with you. Wanted to drop in real quick. Let's take 5 big deep breaths. And let's step into this. So I'm really excited about this episode. I'm even so excited I'm going to take my jacket off. I don't know how that correlates to excitement, but I was a little warm, so I'm going to take it off. So as I mentioned in one of the previous episodes, if that was the most previous episode that I created, is that I'm always investing a lot into myself in a lot of different ways, in terms of business growth, in terms of personal growth, in terms of energetics, in terms of strategy. And that's why we always are constantly talking about the Woo Plus Do formula. It is all about really getting grounded, having that spiritual side of yourself, having the mindset, the energetics, but also the strategy, the business plan, the action, the accountability, the discipline, the social media strategy, the marketing strategy, the sales process, like everything that includes into being a successful human being and business owner. So that's what we're all about here. But the reason I bring all of that up is because I recently invested into this energetics program that is just absolutely next level. And I'm excited to share with you guys more and more about it. It was a large investment. It makes me nervous every time I invest into something, but knowing that my future self, my highest self, is going to thank me for investing into him. And so I've actually given that future, that highest self of mine, a name. And it's a really special name, and I'll talk more about this. This kind of comes back into the whole reason on why I decided to change my name from Nicholas to Nico. But the highest version of myself, his name is actually Nikolaiki. And again, I'll share on a future episode on that. But I really felt energized and inspired and charged up to share this whole concept that I learned. Like I said, I invested in this new program, and it was not a cheap investment whatsoever. But I've already got my money's worth, and I haven't even been in for 12 hours. I don't think. Well, maybe like 12 hours. And basically, what she was asking is like, who is your highest self? Who is your highest self? How do they think? How do they behave? What do they believe? What are they proud of? How do they eat? How do they smell? What do they believe in? What do they believe? What do they not believe in? What do they stand for? What do they stand against? What kind of money are they injecting into their life? What kind of money are they attracting and creating and pulling into their life? What kind of investments? Are they rich? Are they generous? Like, really, the key concept to all of this is really, really getting clear on who that is in terms of all five senses. Because once you can do that, that's when it starts tapping into your subconscious, your unconscious programs. You can say you can say affirmations as much as you want, and they help, for sure. We talk about that. I talked about that on a previous episode with Ian Simon about how I'm a big advocate of affirmations. But if you really, really want to tap into the full spectrum of your subconscious, you want to use as many modalities and many senses as you possibly can. So ask yourself those questions. Start writing it down. I wrote this down, and I want to share this with you. Basically what I wrote down, answering a lot of those questions. So I said, who is Nico Leike? Again, my highest self. He eats slow. He eats rich, well-cooked meals with lots of gratitude. He has this alluring musk to him. He smiles at everyone he comes across, knowing he's about to bless them. He's decisive. He's clear. He feels light. He has no resistance. He loves challenges. He's constantly playing the game I win. He always asks, I wonder, especially when challenges arise. He easily closes tabs. I'll tell you more about that in here in a second. He's present. He's mindful. He loves himself more than anything else. He loves God more than anything else. He's consistently getting incredible sleep. He's never concerned about the future or the past. He breathes deep. He speaks with confidence and conviction. His health is number one. He's rich as fuck. He's generous as fuck. He clowns. He laughs. He doesn't settle. He knows what he wants. He takes his time. He thinks thoughts that are only serving. He feels his internal world and external world fully. He gives away so much money. He's always laughing. He's got tons of investments. He sees life as a game and is always winning. He responds to stress like a boss and sees it as a fun challenge. He basks in excitement. Sorry, my handwriting's a little messy. He wears fine clothes that last. He makes peace with where he's at and always looks to improve. He's always looking for more income streams that feel good and are leveraged. He sees making money is a fun game that he's always winning. He always moves towards things that align with his values. He's proud of how much he loves himself. He's proud of how he treats himself. He's proud about his relationship with God. He's proud of his character when times get tough. He's proud of his thoughts, his commitments to the process, how he makes people feel, and how much money flows to him easily. Sorry, I know that was a little stifled, but you kind of get the point. It got very clear, and there's so many different ways that I can go on and on. I'm probably going to write numerous more pages. But the thing I did want to share in that, he's closing tabs. And so why I really preach on the whole woo plus do, and I'll talk about the woo side here, is I believe, and again, with the assistance of my mentor, it's like closing tabs. That's what you're doing when you are meditating. That's when you're grounding. That's when you're in flow. And in that woo side is you're closing tabs. How many of us entrepreneurs listening can relate to the fact that you have 10, 20, 100 tabs open on your browser? I can count like 10 for me right now at this current moment that I'm looking at. It gets a lot, right? It becomes a lot. and it's weighing down on your computer. It's weighing down on your hard drive and processing speed. I don't know all the intangibles with it, but I do know that when you start closing tabs, you start shutting down apps, it's easier for your device to run. Right. And so that's really what the woo side is. And that's why it's important to get clear. And, this whole conversation about like, who is that highest self? Who is your Nico Likey? That is the woo side. And that is closing the tabs. That is getting more clear. That is getting more peace within your life so that you can implement the strategies. So you can really step into your business. Because again, your business is just an extension of who you are. That's why it's so important to get very, very clear on who you are. So it's probably a really quick episode. I'm testing with a lot of different lengths and a lot of different ways on how we're going to deliver this podcast. Let us know what you guys think. Send me a DM over at Nico Arapkilis, NIKOARAPKILES on Instagram. You can also follow us over at the official Just Grow Instagram page. All the links will be down in the show notes, and you can obviously always go to justgrowpodcast.com or justgrowvisions.com. That's where you can find all sorts of information. And check the show notes because we always have little goodies down there, little surprises, little bonuses. So yeah, let us know if you guys have any questions. Let us know what kind of value you got out of this. Leave a review. And then my only ask from this podcast is to share this content, whether that's my Instagram content, whether that's YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, whether that's just simply on the podcast apps. Share this content if this resonated with someone that you believe that really deserves to hear a message like this, that really deserves to figure out who they are. They deserve it. They deserve it. We all deserve to be the best version that we possibly can. And that means accepting ourselves, loving ourselves, making peace for where we're at right now, as well as growing into that next version of ourselves. So appreciate y'all. I love you guys. Keep growing trees. And we'll see you on the next one.